Raymond Crews joins us in studio. He is a candidate for the House District 8 seat, and runoff is this Saturday.
Question number one, why Raymond Crews?
Why Raymond Crews? Well, I tell you, I've got a vast, broad experience base that I think would be great in the legislature. I've had a lot of different capabilities expressed through my time in the military, running small businesses, interfacing with small other businesses here in town where I work part-time, just all kinds of different things in my background I think would serve us well in the legislature.
Do we even need to ask you gas tax, gross receipts tax? Or it's wasting our time, right?
Yeah, it is, because I think I'm a conservative, so those things they're non-players around here.
Right. Absolutely no.
Absolutely no. We got money in the till. We're just not using it efficiently.
Mm-hmm. Where do you cut? Where do we have to cut somewhere? Do you lay state workers off? Does Raymond Crews say, we got to trim our staffs?
Well, I tell you what, we can definitely say we need fewer managers. I think they came out, last year where they're talking about a lot of people just manage one or two people. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So we're overpaying some people probably, and there are lots of inefficiencies in terms that government is never as efficient in small business in doing anything, really. So I'd like to see where those opportunities are, of course, and peer a little bit more into the budget and see where's that money going. Does it make sense to have automatic budget increases? I hear about these agencies every year add 2.3% to their next year's budget just out of the gate.
And then if you alleviate or you try to cut the increase, they call it a cut and say that, what's the phrase? We're on the verge of a fiscal cliff.
Exactly. And I can't imagine that if I were to have my kids come to me in the house and say, hey, Dad, I'm anticipating a 2.3% raise each year for nothing. I just get it automatically.
Let's go over a couple of things that I'm interested. Today in the news is the death penalty. You'll hit the ground running if you win. You'll have to go down there and vote on a bill that would eliminate the death penalty. How do you vote?
I vote no. Death penalty is important because without justice, mercy doesn't make any sense. So we have to have a standard of justice, or it just doesn't make any sense to, say, hey, this penalty or this crime warrants no severe penalty. It's just got to have it. Also,
I'm going to run through my list real quick. There's a measure the governor's pushing to increase our minimum wage to $8.50 over 2 years. People are they can't make it. 40% of Louisiana residents living below the poverty level. Is this one way to help that?
That's not a good idea, because what's going to happen when you raise the minimum wage? Fewer people are going to have jobs. That's just the way the business works. So, unfortunately, I would like to see everybody make more money. But the problem is, if you have some people making more, other people's are going to make nothing.
All right, here we go with the other one. Equal pay for equal work. Does Raymond Crews vote for that?
It's a great concept. I don't think legislating it's the way to do it. We've already seen
against women?
Not at all. I think they can do a great job, just as competent as men. But the problem is, look at the White House and then look at Baton Rouge. Even there wasn't equal pay, and these are people that were proponents for the idea. So I don't think making a law is going to make it happen.
So what makes it happen?
Well, there's several different things. Of course, the majors that women select out of college a lot of times have a big bearing. What fields do they get into? And secondly, you've probably read that women are less aggressive about seeking raises. Men, we don't seem to have a problem with that, but that's something definitely has to be addressed, but I don't think legislation is the way to do it.
Okay, Raymond's against the gas tax increase, but Raymond, you and I both know when I drive in from Dallas, when I go make my shopping trips or whatever I do, and I hit the Louisiana roads, I get bienvenue la Louisiane, we suck. You know what I mean? What are we going to do to fix the roads?
Well, I think it was pointed out on your show maybe that 11 cents of every tax dollar that goes toward roads actually makes it there. So, of course, we've got inefficiency there, too. So we've got to address that. If we're going to say we're going to take more money, they've got to prove to us that the money's going to go where it's supposed to go.
Now, that's interesting because we have asked, as I said to Representative Glover, pardon me, you asked 20 people, how much of the gas tax goes to roads? And you get 20 different answers. Mm-hmm. You ask 10 people, you get 20 different answers. How does one begin to unravel that morass of regulation and rules and the conundrum inside the puzzle inside, you know what I mean, that has become state government?
Well, I got to tell you right there, you just said conundrum and puzzle. That is a big problem. Government is so big, we can't even unravel the ball and find out what's going on. So the solution is not going to be make even more government or make it even bigger. That just makes no sense. So we've got to simplify things. We've got to lessen the impact that the government has on our daily lives.
Let's talk education a minute, because we are near the bottom on every list. and we're trimming tops. We're going to lose a lot of our better folks. Let's start with tops. What's the answer to that? We've cut it back to like 40% this year. Do we need to reinstate tops full funding?
Well, I think it's ethically wrong to make a promise to someone and then mid-year or mid-college career say, hey, no, you're not getting any more. Families have planned on that. So I think we definitely need to find a way to fund those people that have already been enrolled in that program. But going forward, for people that are in high school now looking at tops, we need to set the standard of what it's going to be, whether it's going to be an increased GPA, whether it's going to be a 2-year program instead of 4, whether it's going to be trade schools, whatever. It's got to be changed apparently for the future. Just right now, I think we've got to make the cuts that we have that we can in other areas to make sure we fund that.
And yet, you can look around the country and you can see that the municipality, municipalities that throw the most money per student don't necessarily have the best results. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about charter schools, vouchers, private schools, et cetera?
Well, the whole thing hinges off of is really school choice. I mean, as parents, I think parents have the primary role in determining what the children do and where they go. And we do that naturally. When we move to a new area, I did. When I came down here to Shreveport-Bossier, we looked for the best school district to put our kid in. That's exercising school choice right there. And now they want other things on the table. And charter schools, they sound like a decent idea, and maybe some voucher programs. I don't think those are a player for my district so much. District 8, we're very content with our schools there. We're very happy with the system we have. But in other places, it's going to become an issue throughout Louisiana. So I'm going to have to vote on that, of course. But those programs have to be equitably funded in terms of all students don't cost the same to educate. There are some that are very easy. You've seen them. They read books all day long. They're ready to go. But there are other ones that need a lot more hands-on care. So I don't think we're going to be able to assign an average cost to someone and make that work for the charter school concept, because it may end up being all the top, brightest students there, and then you're left with the difficult ones to educate in the public school system. So we got to think about an equitable way to approach this.
Raymond Crews, what sets you apart from your competitor, Robbie Gatti?
Well, I'm going to have to say character at this point. I didn't think I was going to ever have to say that, but Robbie went from hitting on the PACs to hitting on me, saying that I'm responsible for some of the communications coming out there. And I know you're aware, most voters are aware, that political action committees can fund advertisements on their own with no input from the candidate. They can't even talk to the candidate. And yet now he's extending his accusations to me, and he knows better. He's hoping that the voter is not aware of how PACs work. And I think the majority of our voters are smart enough to realize, hey, that's not Raymond Crews' campaign, that's a PAC, and then investigate the claims made in. Are they true or are they not true, instead of just dismissing the candidate altogether, thinking, oh, he's negative.